Hello there, welcome to another episode of Curihistory. In today's episode I want to take you to India in the late 4th century to around the late 3rd century BCE. In this time a dynasty arose that in my opinion, like no other, exemplifies the contrast between war and peace. So let's dive into the thrilling history of the early Maurya Empire. First of all, again apologies for any name I mispronounce. In 324 BCE, India is divided, which it was a lot historically. To the north the strongest kingdom was the Nanda Empire, but parts of what belongs to modern-day India were recently conquered by none other than Alexander the Great. However, Alexander's men famously mutinied as they wanted to finally return home after years of conquest. It seemed the Nanda kings were safe, but within their own realm their rule was unpopular due to their high taxation and rumors of less than noble behavior at court. In 323 BCE, a noble who was tutored by the famous philosopher Chanakya, similar to how Alexander was tutored by Aristotle, rose up. His name was Chandragupta Maurya, and he was here to kick butts and shoemonger, and he was all out of monger. Oh, you want to know what monger is? It's not completely certain. We do know it is a crop that was a staple in the diet of the time, as you know it from Maurya sources. It is most likely the plant known today as the horseradish tree, or moringa. Anyway, back to our protagonist. According to the Roman historian Justinus, and yes, Romans wrote about that guy, Chandragupta was so awesome that a wild elephant stormed out of the jungle just to stop and bow before him. From that point on, Chandragupta rode this elephant into battle, and that happened a lot. Chandragupta did not only conquer all of the Nanda Empire in about 1 year, he also marched into the territory conquered by Alexander the Great, who at the time was already dead. The generals and governors left in the region were no match for the Maurya conqueror. However, after the Diadochi Wars, that is the wars amongst Alexander's successors, finally took a bit of a break, Seleucus I, founder of the Seleucid dynasty, turned his attention to the lost territory. Like Alexander, he would march into India and try to reclaim his former king's conquests. Chandragupta proved to be more than a match for the Macedonian general. After 2 years of fighting, and with threats rising in the west of his empire, Seleucus was forced to sue for peace. The Maurya Empire would keep the Indus Valley. In turn, Chandragupta would give Seleucus 500 of his war elephants. The deal was sealed with a marriage, though we don't know who married exactly. Most likely Seleucus' daughter and Chandragupta. In any case, satisfied with his western border, Chandragupta turned south. And then, in a surprising twist, after conquering so much, Chandragupta decides he shed enough blood. He renounces his throne, leaving it to his son Bindusara, and becomes a Jain ascetic monk. Just like that, he left a lifetime of conquering. Chandragupta turns to absolute peace. Now Bindusara took more inspiration from his father's early life and invaded further south. The kingdom of Kalinga successfully resisted him though, and when he died, a civil war between his sons erupted. Eventually famous Ashoka won around 270 BCE, ending a very bloody civil war, thereby killing most, if not all, of his brothers. And like his father before him, he attacked Kalinga. Bent on not repeating the same mistakes, his attacks are more vicious and brutal, eventually annihilating Kalinga's forces. And how did he feel about his own brutality? Well, to quote him, "Beloved of the gods, King Priyadasi conquered the Kalingas 8 years after his coronation. 150,000 were deported, 100,000 were killed, and many more died. After the Kalingas had been conquered, beloved of the gods came to feel a strong inclination towards the Dharma, a love for the Dharma, and for the instruction in Dharma. Beloved of the gods is Ashoka's self-given name. Very humble, I know. and Dharma is the name for the teachings of Buddha. Dharma is symbolized by the wheel, which is still used today in India's national flag. To quote further, "Now beloved of the gods feels deep remorse for having conquered the Kalingas." Deep remorse? Wow. As a historian, I've seen a lot of conquerors write about their conquest, but Ashoka is one of the few who seems to genuinely feel bad about what he has done. Indeed, he renounced all violence after this war and became a devout Buddhist. So he erected many stone pillars throughout his kingdom, all of which held his various edicts about promoting peace and prosperity. From Kandahar to Yaragudi, the people of his realm could learn about their king and Dharma. Indeed, much of the success of Buddhism came in part from Ashoka promoting it. Not just in his own lands. No, he sent Buddhist preachers in every direction, spreading it through most of Asia and even to Europe. So Ashoka's turn is not only significant for his own life, but for world history. To top it all off, Ashoka's empire was the largest the Indian subcontinent had ever seen. It even exceeded the borders of modern-day India. And within his empire, he spent a lot of resources on infrastructure, like wells, roads, and hospitals, as well as giving access to education. But what amazes me the most is that not just one, but two rulers of his dynasty renounced all violence and turned to religion. And different religions even. So that concludes this episode. Thanks to my wonderful artist and to you viewers. I also want to apologize for the different audio quality of this episode. I recorded in a new room. I hope that for a future episode it will go back to the old quality. Leave a comment and subscribe for more. Until next time.